All right, we'll wait till everyone starts rolling in. The stream of the year, man. The stream of the year for the end of the year. We have such a crazy, crazy lineup. We're going to let everyone start slowly rolling in here. But obviously, we have Brody, per usual. But this time, we have a new guest in Fabian Rankel.
What's up?
Probably the biggest reporter I know.
No.
And then, obviously, the GOAT, MLS Moves. He decided he wanted to hop in here. I mean, Will, let's let you start this one off. We're the one who started this whole thing. Jesus Ferreira to the Sounders is a done deal. We talked about it last time.
Well, I had I didn't even know we weren't live yet. I had a backstage rant, I guess. But, dude, they absolutely got hosed down in this trade deal. $2 million in GAM, an international spot, and Liao Chu. Now, Liao Chu, I don't know what exactly his value is these days. There was a reported $4 million offer, some people said, or some people were saying they were looking to maybe get him on loan and with an option to buy. Either way, having to trade $2 million in GAM, an international roster spot, and Liao Chu for Jesus Ferreira, dude, he better go off. He better have one of the best seasons of his career in 2025 with that capital they gave up, because we all know GAM is very, very important in MLS, especially through building the spine of your roster, the middle of your roster. And they gave up an absolute treasure trove for Jesus Ferreira. And I don't, is Jesus Ferreira even better than Leo Campana? I would have rather given up the $2 million in GAM for him.
How about a Bobasi?
No, don't. I'm not speaking on that name. No,
okay,
but we'll disregard that. But look, Leo Campana was $2 million in GAM this year. Would you rather have $2 million in GAM for Leo Campana, or would you rather spend $2 million in international roster spot and Liao Chu for Jesus Ferreira? I would take Leo Campana.
Brody, what would you say? Leo Campana is 24.
Just to that question, or just to the move in general?
No, just to that question.
Which one's a better deal?
What? You're taking Ferreira? Bro, that's crazy. No, I don't agree with that.
Because okay, so the whole thing about Leo Chu's value, I saw a tweet by one of our main reporters like a week or so ago saying that we couldn't even, we'd be lucky to get like 1 million back for him. And he's on an expiring deal too. So as far as giving him up, I'm not really, it doesn't bother me too much. He got forced out of the lineup too. To me, he's kind of a nothing to us, at least. So
Leo Campana?
Giving him up.
No, he's saying
Leo Chu.
Leo Chu.
Okay, Leo Chu. Well, this is what I would say to that. Leo Chu, you throw away, right? That's cool. But when you add, even if he's worth 1 million, 2 million, whatever it is, he's still worth something. You're giving up 2 million GAM, an international roster spot, and Liao Chu for Jesus Ferreira. And I think Leo Campana is a more proven player recently. Jesus Ferreira hasn't done anything since 2022. He had one good season. And I think they need a true number 9. Jesus Ferreira is not a true number 9. Leo Campana is. I think that would have been a better fit for Seattle, and he would have been cheaper. He's only making $800K this year, Leo Campana is, or $850K. I think Jesus Ferreira, even though he won't be a DP for Seattle, I think one of the contingencies for this trade to go through would have to take a pay cut. But I can guarantee he's probably still making over $1 million a year. Yeah. Leo Campana would have been a better player for this team. Jesus Ferreira is just another C-list USMNT player adding up on the Seattle Sounders, man. I don't know about it.
One thing I'll add to what Will said, and by the way, everyone in the chat that's talking, I do see you guys in the chat, but I don't want to put up a comment and cover up Will because we have four people on this live. We'll get to everything. I'm reading it and I'm making sure to keep mental notes. But one thing I wanted to add is that is the biggest gripe I have with this deal is what position would Ferreira fit in this team? Because is he truly a striker? Is he truly a 10? We re-signed Rusnak. Where does he fit in this team? Because in my opinion, like how Will mentioned in the previous stream, we talked about this, he's more of a center forward. He's like that tweener guy. But we don't need a guy like that. We need goals. And at least with Leo, again, but I don't want this stream to be about Leo Campana because that wasn't originally what the topic was. But there is a good point here where there were if you're going to stay within MLS, I don't know if the thing is this is a good supplemental piece, but you gave an arm and a leg for a supplemental piece. That's my big problem. An arm and a leg for a supplemental guy. Not even going to be one like, okay, to a degree, but still, you're giving up a lot for a guy that should just be one of many added pieces to the attack. But it's looking like this could be the main attacker the Sounders are bringing in.
Well, I'd imagine the Sounders are probably going to play more like a 3-5-2 if we're getting Jesus Ferreira. In that case, he would actually fit that system, playing as like a secondary striker next to Jordan Morris.
Oh God!
So I think we're gonna play more of that formation.
But did you hear what you just said? You're gonna rely on Jordan Morris to be your number 9. Dude, what are we talking about? This is 20. What year are we? What year is this? I just want to.
No, I agree. Listen, I
check
totally
my
agree.
clock.
I agree with the Jordan Morris. Yeah.
Let me say something. Jordan Morris had 14 goals last year. Okay.
Oh, brother.
All right. You bring in another attacker. You bring in another creative option. Those goals should go up, right?
All I'm gonna say, but Fabi, that was his best year in 10 years in this league.
Yeah, Fabi, you're right. You know what? He had Nico Ladero in his prime, but you know what? Jesus Ferreira is going to be the one to unlock Jordan Morris at 31 years old.
Here's another thing. Jesus Ferreira right now, his value is at around 5 million. Okay. Leo Campana's value is about 3.5 million. Okay. You're giving up the same type of deal for a more proven player, even on the international stage.
I was going to say, I think it's because of the USMNT tax. That's why he's 5 mil.
Wait a second. Hold on. Fabi, did you just say that Jesus Ferreira is more proven on the international level than Leo Campana?
Yes.
We're talking about a guy who's getting starts for Ecuador or getting playing time with Ecuador. We're talking about a guy who's played.
He wasn't for a long time,
but
just started.
Okay, well, doesn't that add to the point that he's playing well enough to be playing for Ecuador? What the hell is Jesus Ferreira doing?
Look, I love Ecuador, but the USMNT is a bigger team than Ecuador.
Whoa!
That's just gonna say
crazy.
This. I'm just gonna say that. Look, let me tell you this. Ecuador's not even the 1, 2, 3, like 5th biggest team in South America. All right, like, all right. This is my Uruguayan bias coming in. But let's be honest here, okay? I don't think Leo Campana touches Ecuador because they have Valencia. But okay. Let's talk about this again. If I had to choose Jesus Ferreira at 24 and Leo Campana at 24 for the same type of money, I'm bringing in Jesus Ferreira 9 out of 10 times.
Okay.
How much did you smoke before you started the stream? What were you smoking? How much were you smoking? Are you over the legal limit because you're out of your damn mind?
Okay, but nonetheless,
is not a C-list USMNT player. Okay.
Bullshit. He might be
a
D-list. He might be D-list.
Fringe B plus. Okay.
Okay. Nonetheless, either way, we can all agree neither of those two players were the type of striker you'd wanted the Sounders to be bringing in as your big new shiny striker toy going into next year.
Actually, I don't mind it. I don't mind
Christ above.
Look, only a couple of teams, only a handful of teams in MLS could have pulled off this deal, and the Sounders are one of them. Why not take advantage of the power that you have within the league, right? How much did you pay for Leo Chu?
But 2.5 mil, right?
I think it was around 1 or 2 mil, somewhere around.
Yeah, it was around.
Okay, like so you pay a little bit more for Jesus Ferreira, who's a way better player. What are we talking about?
But I agree, but it's not like a like for like. But thing is, Ferreira wasn't a necessity in my opinion. He's not the type of guy I think all Sounders fans would have wanted.
Well, if you take a look at the heat map for Ferreira, and you would always notice this when you watch him play, he actually like kind of goes to the right a lot more. And Morris, on the other hand, goes to the other side. So I think it could be a great combination. I really, truly think that these two can combine, and they know each other pretty well. Jesus Ferreira is about to have a kid, so he probably wants to settle down in Seattle. Seems like the great opportunity to do that. I mean, they always take care of their players, right?
Bobby, I'm about to pull your MLS card. I'm about to check you at the door. I'm about to check you at the door. You're about to get bounced, okay? Listen to me. Jesus Ferreira has had one good season with Dallas. He was the second fiddle to Ricardo Pepi back in 2021. Pepe's the one that got the move to Augsburg because he had more potential. Jesus Ferreira is an MLS lifer. Didn't want to go to Europe because he was scared of the light. He was scared of the lights. He didn't want to push.
It was denied by the MLS. That's not true.
Is Spartak Moscow really like at that point? Like they weren't even playing in Europe. Don't get me wrong. Yes, it is Europe, but like at that point,
people say Europe, they talk about like the Belgian league. Like, come on, like
No, but at least the Belgian league's still playing in the Champions. The Russian league is banned playing in Europe.
But that's politics, right? That's a big club.
No, but that's what helps the Russian league with producing players to go to the bigger teams. Because we used to see the likes of Willian. We used to see those type of Brazilian players go to like Shakhtar, Macha Chakala, wherever those other teams were, and then get bigger moves to Europe.
Right.
Like there's plenty of Iranian footballers that are playing in Russia, but it's like it doesn't help them that much more playing in that league.
You're talking about more recently about Jesus Ferreira not want to go to Europe. You're talking about that move like at the beginning of this year. I'm talking about 2022. After he had his good season, he had interest and he said, "No, I'm good. I want to stay in MLS because they're going to pay me $2 million and I can just be comfortable."
Okay, I'll give you that. Maybe you want to make one bag before you move over to Europe, but this person, I'm looking at Jesus Ferreira with 2024 as a wash. Nico Estevez was out like maybe a third throughout the season, and they were playing with the interim for a long time. Imagine playing in FC Dallas. Velasco's out for the year. You know you're not going to do anything.
Musa was able to do it.
Who?
Musa was able to do it.
Yeah, Musa. Okay, but you're also coming into a new situation, right? You want to make your mark. Think about this on a personal level. Like,
wouldn't it be the other way around? Ferreira's been with this team for so long. Musa's a new guy. Don't you think it would take him more time to be integrated to score goals? But that just shows he's
dealing with injuries, though.
Well, think about it like on a personal level. Like the coach that you really stayed or you did everything you could for FC Dallas is gone. Maybe you don't want to play or you don't want to be there anymore. And it's evident with this trade, right? You didn't want to be there. So I don't know. I think Musa coming into a new situation, he was bought into it. Of course, he's going to buy in from day one. It's harder to get, in my opinion, a player to buy into a system when you just fired your old coach and he was your guy, right? So I kind of think of the last season as a wash for him. I think with the injuries and then the coaching change, Velasco not being around, I think Jesus Ferreira can be closer to the form he was before last year.
But the thing is, I want to bring up, to add to what you said, is because there was those other pieces that helped Ferreira out. The thing is Ferreira is going to have to be that guy for Seattle because there is no other pieces. Because
you don't think there's other pieces on Seattle?
No, I watched 30 plus games. I don't think there's other pieces.
De La Vega, Jordan Morris.
You're embarrassing yourself.
No, but like put yourself in an MLS thinking head. I watch the Earthquakes day in and day out. Okay,
I forget about that.
Okay, like
touchdown Boise State. Let's go. Sorry.
I look at Alex Roldan like a superstar in this league, all right?
That's crazy.
So you guys got to understand that there's other teams that would kill for Jesus Ferreira. Like I got 4 texts from my San Jose friends saying, "Damn, they got Jesus Ferreira. I wish that was us." No, instead we let Abobsi go and we have Paul Judd playing at the
funnily enough, I think scored against the Sounders last season.
But I'm just saying, it's all perspective. Yes, the Sounders should be ambitious, just like Atlanta. Yes, they should be ambitious, just like Inter Miami. But I think this is one of the best within MLS moves you could have done.
MLS moves.
I think the thing that makes fans upset, and I think Brody can add on to this, is I'm not talking about Sounders fans, is because you've waited so long for this transfer window. You know it's been long overdue for this rebuild, and the fact that you're big and possibly your biggest signing going into this big Club World Cup year where you have all this pulling power, playing in this huge Club World Cup competition, that you could most likely you're only going to be able to pull off this type of move. Because think about it, you bring in Ferreira, you bring in Areola, you just renewed Rusnak on a DP deal. What much more room do the Sounders have to pull anything off?
Well, they had $4 million in GAM. It was reported that they had $4 million in GAM, like 4.1. So you use $2 million on this, and you're using a little bit of GAM to sign Paul Areola, I'm assuming. You're maybe buying down Rusnak, he's a
DP. He's a confirmed DP.
Well,
he's not taking a pay cut. That's already been confirmed.
No,
if anything, just made more money.
But you could probably buy it down. There's a reason why Rusnak is going to be a DP. And it might be because they want to take that route. I remember the Quakes labeling someone as a DP just because it fit their it didn't attack their payroll
Yeah.
It only does a $650,000 cap on it. So it might be that reason. But you guys have De La Vega, like that's the guy. So I don't know why everybody's like up in arms. You're bringing in pieces around De La Vega.
Don't get me wrong. I think De La Vega still can come good, but it's so much pressure. But you could see how much pressure it put on. You need more pieces than just De La Vega. You need more if you get what I mean, more De La Vega type signings.
You have 5 players in that starting lineup that would literally walk on 8 teams in the West.
Oh, okay. Let's hear this.
All right.
Okay, let's begin.
Jordan Morris.
No.
Roldan.
Which one?
Both.
No.
Wait, hold on. What was the statement? What was the statement before you say this? What did he say?
He said
you have 5 players that would walk on any other MLS team in the West. Yamar.
Yes, Yamar, sure.
Stephen Fry.
Stephen Fry, sure. That's 2.
That's 2, man.
Jordan Morris should start for
San Jose.
San Diego.
Dude, listen to me, Bobby. You can stop. You're projecting your down bad club onto every other club. We know San Jose's down bad. We know they are down bad. And it's talking about Albert Rusnak. He can't be bought down. Now, I agree with you. Some players are designated like Campana is to save some TAM, maybe in the summertime to use, but he is above the max TAM threshold. He's going to be making like 1.8 to 2 million a year. 1.65 is the max. He won't be able to be bought down.
You can use that GAM to buy it down to a TAM. It's possible.
You can't use both. That's one of the rules. You can't use GAM and TAM on one guy. It's either one or the other. So he is going to be an official true designated player for the Sounders. And I got flack on Twitter by saying that that's a bad move. Well, you don't watch the games, Will. You don't know what you're talking about. Guys, has the Sounders fans forgot that Nico Ladero, who won you your first MLS Cup, that is the quality DP you guys have had? We're signing fucking bums from RSL now as your DPs on a free. That's where you guys are now. That's where you guys are on now. The Sounders, I know, would have finessed a deal for Albert Rusnak on a GAM or TAM deal and said, yo, listen, we're the Sounders. You want to come win championships? You're taking a discount to come play with us. Now they're like, hey, listen, we will give you a DP, sir.
Yeah, Rusnak had the Sounders buy the balls. They're like, I'm going to get a pay raise. If not, I'm walking. And like Weibel's like, oh, shit, we can't let that happen. Can't let the guy who goes in every single big game leave us.
Well, okay, listen to this. Nico Ladero, I'm just going to say this right now, might be one of the top 5 transfers that MLS has ever seen. So it's so hard to strike gold like that again, right? We're talking about a completely different league. I mean, I hate to say this. Seattle is a powerhouse. They get a crazy fan base. They have a beautiful stadium, a beautiful city. But try to entice someone to come to Seattle over Miami and Los Angeles right now, or New York. Like, come on! Like, we're really.
They were able to do it back in the 2013, 14. 15. LA was always there.
But before Zlatan came, or before Miami was even an option, right? Like, come on! Like, Nico Ladero doesn't.
But then that's where Sounders need to start upping their ambition. That's my point. Is the competition is going to get stiffer. Then be that competitive team. That's my problem. Don't get me wrong, Fabi. I agree with a lot of the points you make. I'm not saying Jesus Ferreira is totally the bad deal. I think this is just an okay, nothing more. Bottom of the barrel, okay. It is fine. The problem I have with it is, what more can you do now that you've done this? You've tied yourself back up again. The biggest bullshit excuse Weibel has been making all the 2 years he's been here, 3 years. We don't have money. We don't have roster space. I can't do this. We don't have enough flexibility. This was your offseason to do it. You let Rui Diaz go. You let Rusnak go. You maybe sell a new Alex Roldan for big money. You maybe make another big sale. You've just opened up a whole window for yourself to get. I would rather take a risk on a player from South America or Europe that had maybe one like Jesus Ferreira, who had a good season, but at least has more of that upside. But Ferreira, yeah, he had one good year in MLS, but I would rather be taking that risk with someone else, in my opinion.
You already did with De La Vega, right? Like, you don't need to take.
And I still think he'll pan out. But I've always been consistent about it, and Will knows I've said this. You need multiple types of De La Vega now. The team is too old and has been too much of the same. And it's like, every time the Sounders go up against a team that has a strategy, that comes in with the right approach, You rarely ever see the Sounders win any big games unless the center back's playing in goal. You don't see Sounders clobber a big team anymore.
You know what's
We're literally 20 minutes away from being in the final, right? We're talking about a team that literally could have beat the Galaxy if Ricky Pooch wasn't master. Like
they're also one own goal away from not even making it to the Western Conference final.
So do you think Jesus Ferreira is not going to be able to at least add a little bit?
No, and that's what I'm saying. But that's a good. But I said this in the beginning. It's a good supplemental piece. But you've now tied your hands behind your back, where you're like, shit, we can't really bring that much more in with who we've brought in. I'm not saying it's bad, but again, where does Ferreira fit in this team? That's the other problem is, where does he fit in this team?
Yeah, I mean, he's gonna be more of a free form pick. Like if you watched him at Dallas, he would really be all over the pitch, all over the right side of the pitch, like anywhere he wanted to be. So it's interesting. I wonder where Schmetzer is going to have him maybe control him a bit more, or they're going to have him be free form like that he was in Dallas. So it's interesting.
Guys, I have to go in a second, but I'm going to leave with some final thoughts. And I appreciate you joining you guys and hope you guys have a happy new year and everyone in the chat. This team is just kind of like doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. They're re-signing João Paulo, who's decent, but I feel like it's time to move off of him. And then I got attacked saying, oh, you don't know ball, Will. He's not even starting. Obed Vargas is starting. Obed Vargas is being rumored to be sold to Club America. I don't even know if he's going to be here. He could be on the move this winter. But there's other. Yamar is good. Stephen Fry is still good. But they're relying on too many old heads that have been here for years and not bringing any new blood into the team and changing things up a little bit. In MLS, if you don't change things up, you get left behind. Now, they've been fortunate enough to be competitive just because they have some pieces that are good enough to get you to a certain point. But I thought the Sounders organization was about winning championships, not just being participants in the playoffs. I thought they're trying to win, but they're doing the same thing over and over again. And to Cheyenne's point about Jesus Ferreira being a good supplemental signing, from what I've seen, Nico Moreno's reporting this is their big signing. They're not planning to do anything else outside of maybe trading for Paul Arriola, which is another supplemental signing. So Paul Arriola and Jesus Ferreira are not going to be enough to turn this around and beat the Galaxy, who are signing 3 new U22s. They're signing a new TAM player. Like the Galaxy are getting better. Inter Miami is getting better. All these teams that were already better than the Sounders are getting better. And the Sounders are doing the old traditional MLS 2.0 way of building a team. And they have to get with the current model or they're going to get left behind.
And I want to add to Will's point is it only took the Galaxy one window to go from bottom feeder in the West to top of the West by getting 2 big signings in the likes of Paintsill and Peck. If anything, that should be a blueprint for many other MLS teams to do the same. Obviously, some teams
they weren't more
cheap. Work for the other.
They weren't cheap.
I was about to say we don't have our owner's not gonna provide us with the facilities.
But we could. Seattle could. There's no question that they couldn't pull off something like that easily. But again, that's up to us if we want to take some risks and sell players and open up that space for ourselves. That's the thing is, if you don't risk anything, you might not get anything. That's the thing is.
Guys, real quick, I got to go. I appreciate you letting me hop on. Cheyenne will do something in the future. Brody, it's nice meeting you. Favi, always a pleasure. This is like our 4th stream in the last couple of weeks. Happy New Year's, guys. Like the show down below if you haven't already, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'll see you guys later. Happy New Year.
Okay, let's close off on the Ferreira thing and then go move about Roos next. I think we're gonna have a lot more similar points going into that. What would we rate the signing, knowing what we know and how we based off everything we talked about? How would we rate the signing for the Sounders, knowing what else the other pieces they'll bring in, maybe what they needed, they maybe didn't end up filling up? What would you rate this? I'll let you start, Brody.
I'm honestly, given the context of everything, I'm gonna rate it pretty highly. I'm gonna say like an 8 out of 10, to be honest with you, and mainly because one, I think there's a lot of upside to this deal because, like you had mentioned, Favi, he's valued at what, $5 million, and that's like his floor. That's like as bad as it has gone for Jesus Ferreira. And I heard a lot of people saying in this stream that he only had 1 good season. I disagree. I think you could say he had 3 good seasons, 1 really high-end season, but I think he's had 3 great seasons. He dealt with multiple injuries on a terrible team who didn't play to win, and the vibes were just terrible there. You know how hard it is to actually like play at your best when everything around you is just terrible. Like that's actually hard to do. And the fact is, at his floor, he's $5 million. So let's say we sold him for that. We make our money back on what we gave up, and that's assuming
But
that.
do you think? But is
he doesn't
Craig
get any
smart
better.
enough? Is Craig smart enough to sell players at the right price based off his track record?
Yeah, but I mean, I can't like. You're right about that, but I'm not gonna base.
I'm just
it off
kidding.
Of that,
I'm just.
you know?
I know, but I'm just throwing it out there. I'm just throwing it out there.
No, it's a valid point. I'm gonna base it off of just the actual move itself. I think that if he comes here in a good situation, a good, very good organization, great fans, and bounces back big time, we can move off of him and make at least double of what we gave up for him. So I like it from that standpoint. I also like that it's not a DP deal, and it also frees up a U22 spot. We didn't bring that up, but it frees up a U22 spot because we got rid of Lao Chu. And I think that's important as well. So, yeah.
But before we get to you, Fabi, to add and to agree with what you said. And by the way, everyone in the stream, give me your rating out of 10, or you can do like a letter grade. It doesn't matter for the signing for the Sounders. The one thing I will say is, yes, Ferreira's not on a DP deal. Sure, I think that's good. But two is, we've talked about this many times, Brody, is the Sounders needed like a Rui Diaz, surefire type of striker. That is, regardless of this upside thing, because I don't care about us being able to make profit. I just want someone that's good.
Was Rui Diaz a surefire? Like, let's be honest here. He was never that player for the international for Peru. Like, he was good, yes, in Liga MX, but that doesn't translate always to MLS. So it was a bit of a risk, too.
But he was more in his prime. There at least was that. But like what you just said, there was at least that track record where. But the thing is, at that time, that's the type of signings you wanted to make in MLS. Someone who was kind of had some of that national team pedigree, has done it on a bigger stage, but isn't necessarily like, you know, the limelight type of player.
You just explained Jesus Ferreira.
No, bro, no. There's a huge difference in my opinion. Rui Diaz and Jesus Ferreira.
I'm gonna say it right now. US17 blows Peru out of the water. Like come on.
Right now. But back in 2018, were they?
Yes.
Oh, the team that qualified for the World Cup, the team that didn't qualify for the World Cup.
Peru
really
got lucky, didn't they?
Oh, bro, dude, Bobby. Okay, just move on to how you would rate this.
I'm just saying, like, let's like Peru is not the best soccer nation.
No, not anymore. At the time they were.
Right.
At the time they were. Dude, they made it to the Copa America final the next year after that. What are you talking about?
Yeah, that was a fluke. Like,
bro,
it was just a weird year for Uruguay and Argentina. And like Brazil took them to the leg, bro. They destroyed that game.
They still made it to the final.
Yeah. No, I'll give them that. I'm just gonna say, like I said this. Imagine being Jesus Ferreira. You're on a losing team. They just fired your coach. You're playing in front of 12,000 people in Frisco, Texas. You think you're going to give it your all? You're not even in Dallas. Now you're going to go to Seattle. You are the team of the city. Like, I don't know how to stress this enough. When you play and you're a Seattle Sounder, Seattle cares about you. Like, they actually will put your jersey up in bars. They'll sing your name. Seattle is a soccer city. Frisco, Texas, not so much. San Jose, not so much. So he's going to Seattle to be a superstar in an organization and in a city where they actually care about their players. So you don't think he's going to give it his all? 100% he's going to give it his all.
I think that Ferreira has proven that he's not. I don't think he's not necessarily an unambitious player, but he is kind of unambitious at the same time. Like, I don't know. Like,
can I ask you something? So,
sure.
If let's just say hypothetically our owner's not giving Craig Weibel the actual budget to go out and make an ambitious signing like that, like, how would you rate this move given that context? Because I think that's a really good possibility that Hanauer's just not giving him the funds to work with.
Well, De La Vega was 6.4, right? Like, that's like your second highest transfer of all time.
And he's already a cheap owner. And he just shelled out nearly $7 million for
Guys,
a guy.
is he cheap? Like, are we really talking about this right now? Like, the Sounders are not cheap. Come on now.
Okay, well, in comparison to like the top teams, the top contenders, because that's where we want to be. So in comparison to their owners, I would say we're on the cheap side of that. But so given that context, we just paid a lot for De La Vega, and let's just say Hanauer's not giving him the proper money to make the kind of signing that we want. What else would you do instead of this move?
Personally, for me, I would have gone in for Brandon Vasquez. I already said that a million times. I would have taken Brandon Vasquez in a heartbeat. And Brody, you know that. I've said that.
Did you see his price tag? It was like $10 million.
I saw that he was possibly on a free.
Yeah, and if he's on a free, you think he's not going to Europe?
Well, they haven't. I saw something that said that they didn't release him.
Yeah, so either Lizzie Barachano, excuse me, said that he's going to be terminated, and then Bogart said it wasn't going to happen yet, or it's not happened yet. They're trying to sell him, but I think it's going to be something where he's going to be around $10 million for the Earthquakes. Literally tried to get it for, but it was $10 million. I would 100% rather get Jesus Ferreira with Gammon international spots than $10 million on Brandon Vasquez.
And Ferreira's younger too, isn't he?
Yeah, or I think so. I mean,
I'm pretty sure he's younger.
Outside of the money wise, it's not necessarily what I'm trying to say is it has to be Brandon Vasquez, but that type of striker is more what I would want. Like that's the type of build of forward I would want. It doesn't have to be even within MLS. The thing is, I just wanted something different. That's the big thing is I wanted something different. Again, I didn't say this deal was bad. I don't think it's amazing. I just think it's okay. It's just a solid, decent deal. But you didn't give us your rating too before I give mine.
Brody, you gave your rating?
He said 8.
Yeah, so my rating is going to be, either an 8. I would say an 8 as well, because I don't think you can get a better deal within MLS, personally. And he's not a DP. Every other team would probably have to sign him as a DP.
Yep.
Okay, I'll give this a 6.5 out of 10. That's just my opinion. So we'll conclude it at that. Everyone else, you can give us your opinion on the Ferreira one. I'm a little surprised on how this went, but I like that there's differing opinions. Okay, next and final topic. This will be clipped out for its own video. Albert Rusnak has been confirmed to be re-signed as a designated player for the Sounders next season on a multi-year deal. There's a lot of different perspectives, opinions on this. I think it's a solid like 60-40 split between Sounders fans. Brody and I, we've spoken about it. Obviously, Favi, you're going to be a new voice into this. We expressed how we didn't think this should be the case. We felt like either if Rusnak wants to take a lesser deal, maybe that is fine. But anything less than that wouldn't be what we wanted.
Yeah, look, I'm just trying to look up MLS designated players because Rusnak had 22 goal contributions. I mean, in the last year, maybe he didn't show up in those big games like you wanted him to, but 22 goal contributions is nothing to not like. It's something that's pretty good. I mean, there is flops in MLS that get paid a lot more than Rusnak does as a DP that don't put up 22 goal contributions, right? Shaqiri made like how much? Insigne made how much? And so, yes, it's not as ambitious as you want, but given the state of this team where they, like I said earlier, or in the other video, that they were 1 goal away from being in the final, I think it's a conservative move. I think you're basically saying, let's run it back. Let's do what we did last year and add Jesus Ferreira.
Okay, Brody.
It's funny. We were actually joking about this in the last live because I just realized or found out that you're a San Jose Earthquakes fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, we were talking in the.
Yeah.
Oh, you are or not?
I used to be. I grew up that. Yeah, but since I'm a
Okay.
reporter now, I can't really say I'm a fan. Yeah, but yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, we were joking about in the last live stream that I would like to see Rusnak as a DP, but for a team like the San Jose Earthquakes and not for us, because I think he's a DP level player for
A lower tier team.
maybe half the league at best, I think, but for a championship contending team. I don't think he's a DP caliber player, and I honestly think this move here should be getting more like backlash
Discourse?
and hate than the Ferreira one, in my opinion. Yeah. Because I mean, at least with Ferreira, he's 24 years old and has potential to get better and grow his value. He's on the wrong. He's going to be on the wrong side of 30. I don't know how many years the deal is quite yet. It says multi-year, so is that like
So 2 to 3, right, Fabi?
Yeah, it says multi-year deal. So I'm assuming 2 to 3 on that. So that's a fair bet. But for example, guys, like Hector Herrera is not an MLS player anymore, and he was making $5 million. He had like 3 assists last year. Like, yes, they play different positions.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
But you did get production out of Rusnak. Like, maybe he did something better now. He's only 30 years old. He's not that old.
But the one point I brought up to Brody too is, do you think maybe he was playing super duper well because he knew his contract was on the line? We've seen this with plenty of athletes throughout the years. And the big point that Brody and I have made is he never showed up in any big games for the Sounders. Never. None of them. Nada. And isn't that what the point of a designated player is? To get you through those humps? Rusnak, I don't even think again, outside of the Columbus game, I always love referencing that. Outside of that game, Rusnak, I don't think put up any numbers against any of the bigger teams in the league.
Mm-hmm. And that's a fair assessment. If I'm not mistaken, he hit the post against the Galaxy, right?
No.
That was a pretty close shot. Someone hit the post.
He actually had a really good chance. He shot right at the goalkeeper.
Got it. Okay. But he was threatening, at least. I mean, but that's why you bring in Jesus Ferreira, like, to do that, right? So
God.
I really, you know what? I agree with Brody. This deal isn't sexy. Okay. This deal isn't what Seattle should be if they were 1 goal away from the MLS Cup, but it's a safe deal. It's something that it's going to be more.
Hasn't Seattle been playing
perfectly fine? You're not.
Yeah, but hasn't Seattle been playing the safe deal for like 3 years now?
And you went to a Western Conference final last year, and you're going to be in a Club World Cup. Hopefully, you score a couple goals. I mean, like,
I like how you said hopefully.
I mean, we just got to temper our expectations here too.
Man.
No, we have, man. Trust me.
We're playing in a league that Lionel Messi's gonna literally bring in every single Argentinian player. Like, come on, like, we just need to beat the West if you're Seattle. Let's be honest here.
But it's like it's kind of like that mentality of just coasting above water. And sure, if you want Rusnak in, it's not. I think it's fine. Yeah, his stats, as Shakir said, his hips don't lie. His stats don't lie. But, like, the game is not just stats. There's the eye test as well. Yeah. There's a level of ambition you want to see from your team. And this is, like, as Will said, it's more of an MLS 2.0 move. This is not in a modern MLS type of DP move you'd want the Sounders to be making when you think of DPs in the past. I think a lot more fans would have wanted to see some more risk, a little bit more ambition. Not saying these deals aren't good, but they're not bad. It's just everything's just coasting above water. You're on that fine little line.
You might have to look at the landscape too. Like, what's the free agents out there? There's nobody that's, like, I would say, better priced option than Rusnak, right? Like, you got 22 goal contributions, and if it's maybe like a 1.8 million deal, like, are there better options out there? I mean, I'm talking within MLS because it's obvious.
And I'm just talking to fill up that DP spot, though. I'm saying to fill up that DP spot. I'm not saying within MLS. I'm not saying free agents. None of that. Actually splashing some cash to bring in another guy like De La Vega. And I've wholeheartedly put my sleeve out there. Disregard last season for De La Vega. Why I say that is because, one, there was way too much pressure that he had to produce because you didn't bring anyone else in. He felt that pressure. He constantly was trying to play through injuries, but we could see how much of a different class he was when he played and he was fit and he was healthy. The problem is too much pressure, was injured all the time. Trust me, he will come good. But we needed more pieces like that, in my opinion.
How much did Rui Diaz make last year?
3 million.
Like 2.8 or 3,
a lot.
something around there.
A lot, right? So, the ambition's not there, but you might be able to save a little bit of money with this DP instead of Rui Diaz, right?
But Rusnak was already a DP.
But you're re-signing him to that, right? So it's like, I just think, what was he, a TAM level DP? I'm trying to look at it right now.
Who?
Rusnak.
I think you look at this too much at a number standpoint.
I'm just saying, this is not the sexiest move, but it's definitely something
We
that
need
can.
a sexy move, man.
Yeah, that's the
Do
thing is,
they? Like,
We-
do they? Like, guys, are we serious right now?
yes, we are
You guys have one of
serious.
the best academies. Like, do you need a sexy move?
But
Yeah,
okay,
I
but
would
who in
have
the
rather just Ferreira have replaced Rusnak and just let Rusnak go completely. To
Okay,
be
that's fair.
honest, and then bring
That's
in
fair.
somebody, bring in that 9 that you were talking about. And Ferreira can play because Ferreira can play the 10 too. He's very versatile. So I mean, I just don't think it was the best move, man.
So the way it's actually turned out last year was Pedro de la Vega was a young designated player,
yes,
and then
Yep.
Rusnak was a designated player.
yes,
And
Yep.
then it was Rui Diaz as your second designated,
yes.
player, right? Okay.
So
Okay.
you're all caught up now.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, it could be worse. Like, I don't know. I really, you guys
Could
just have
it?
to beat the Galaxy
That's
and
what-
LAFC. That's all you have to do.
But see, this is like a poor man's mentality now,
They
Father.
don't. But that's the
Could-
thing. He's shown that he's not going to be a difference maker in those games.
Be-
And every MLS Cup, every
And-
trophy that we've won, Ladero has always made a difference in those games. Rui Diaz has always made a difference in those games. And how many times did we play LAFC? Five times.
And
we played
Rusnak
them
didn't
last
show
year?
up in any of
Didn't
those
show
games.
up in any of them. Not even just like goals, assists. Not just that. Like nowhere to be found watching the game 90 minutes with your eyes.
And
Very
granted,
quiet.
yeah, that's more. And a lot of people want to make the complaint of the whole team was bad throughout the whole, like, the beginning of last season. But the thing is he's the designated player. He's the highest paid player on the team. He's a guy that's been in the league for 10 plus years. Don't
the
you expect
10,
him to be
man.
the guy to grab the team by the scruff of the neck and be like, hey, we need to get our shit together, at least be that type of leader, not necessarily vocally, but on the field with his play, which he's shown he's not. He's just a piece. Again, another good supplemental player. But we have no, like, think about it. It's not even just Rui Diaz and Ladero that made the Sounders successful. You had guys like Victor Rodriguez. You had guys like Roman Torres. You had guys like Gustav Svensson. Those are the good type of supplemental pieces. We don't even make those signings anymore.
Well, you don't need to, right? Because you guys have Reagan, Obed Vargas, like Atencio. So you guys are getting all these guys that are coming from your academy who are becoming those pieces, right? So you save some money there.
I would argue I don't think we're that great at produce. Like, yes, there's Vargas. I think Reagan's an okay center back.
Literally,
You look at the likes of you look at
finalist. What are you talking
yeah,
about?
but me and Brody
Wow.
have talking about it. It should have been Yamar. That was not
Okay, but he's still.
It should have been
okay,
Neymar, but he's still. I disagree with you, Sean. I think because I know you don't rate him pretty much at all, but I think Reagan's a solid.
I think he's an
center back
okay set, but again, take
Okay.
Yamar out of the partnership with Reagan.
I mean, he looked good next to Nathan in that game.
That's
Against
one
the-
game, dude. I'm talking about 30 plus matches. It's consistent. Look how many times Reagan when he gets isolated against good attackers, how many times he got murked. Again, but that's not the point here is. I'm saying that we do produce good players, don't get me wrong, but it's like you're making it sound like we produce them like every 2 seconds. I think Vargas is one of the outstanding talents, and I think he should be the guy that should be praised, especially. He's a guy that looks really good. Atencio, I think, is an okay piece. Leyva was an okay piece. Reed Baker Whiting's okay, but none of them we've given a lot of big minutes to.
Guys like Rothrock. I mean, you guys just get guys out of nowhere. Like, what are you talking about? You guys have like these.
But Rothrock's not an academy guy.
I mean, but he's still a young player that you guys find.
You got to tell me these things then. But he's not even that young. He's 25, man. Like, young is like, yeah, sure. Like,
Georgie.
Obed. Georgie's a good one. Yes. I would have put Georgie in this one, not Rothrock.
Yeah, I was gonna go Georgie next. I was gonna say he got the start and
no, you took too long.
I guess so. But still, I mean, you guys do produce good talent. Like, come on.
No, I think we have good. These are the good the bottom pieces you need. I think Georgie's a good piece. I think Reagan's a good piece. But these are not the guys we should be relying on.
Yeah,
to be the big, like, Yedlin was one of those pieces, but he wasn't that heavily relied upon back in 2014 when we were winning the supporter shield and whatnot. He was a good piece to that. And I think it's good to have a good, healthy balance of young and experienced players.
But personally, you brought in Jesus Ferreira for that. So
it just feels like we're a team of just like, because you have to, like we can live in our own Sounders bubble, but we do have to take into context like the rest of the league, like what their teams look like.
The rest of the
So
West.
yeah, exactly. Like it could be a lot worse. It could be a lot worse. But in terms of just competing for championships, it just feels like we're a team of like good players, but there's no one guy, at least yet. Maybe De La Vega comes through, maybe Ferreira bounces back. But there's no like one guy. There's no Gabriel Peck. There's no
There's no
Denis
pain still.
Bowanda.
But the thing is this is a point I made in the last time we spoke, Brody. Think about the last 3 MLS Cup winners. LAFC, you had Bale, you had Vela, you had Orongo. You look at Columbus Crew, you had Ramirez, you had Cucho, you had Rossi. You look at the Galaxy, you had Paintsel, you had Peck, you had Joveljic, you had Puig. Who's
Paintsel and
Sounders?
Peck are literally 2 signings that the Sounders would be the biggest signings of all time. Like, and I think Puig would be up there too. So I think we have to tamper our expectations a little bit. Like,
this is crazy.
Like that's the Galaxy, right? The biggest club in MLS.
They were one of the worst teams last year in MLS.
MLS is weird, dude. You can do it.
No, bro. Whenever
whenever
I reply to what you say, it's always like it doesn't make sense. It's an anomaly.
No, but really, like there's only one team I would rather have on the West Coast, or excuse me, on the Western Conference, player per player, and that would be the Galaxy because they've spent so much more money. But I would take the Sounders over every other team in the West, even LAFC right now.
Wow. That's kind of crazy. I can't agree with that.
And I think it's because LAFC just doesn't know how to use Giroud, and I think they're going to have problems with that. But I also think they're losing a lot of pieces. They lost Murillo. They lost Sanchez or Ilie. Like they're losing a lot of pieces. So I think the Sounders going into the season should be the number 2 team in the West. So why not run it back and give Rusnak a little DP deal? Like, okay, you know.
I mean, we can. We're not going to win the MLS Cup. We're not going to win the MLS Cup bringing Rusnak back as our mainstay DP.
You're not going to dominantly win, sure, but you might sneak out a 1-0 win in the Western Conference Final.
We could, but I mean, he's shown us that it's not going to be because of him.
Yeah,
that's true.
And you're paying that guy to be your guy. You know, that's
a lot of guys in the MLS get labeled DPs because of their transfer in. So it's like a lot of times, like, for example, Carlos Gressel, an Earthquake, he's like a DP, but he's not by far he's not the best player on the team, right? Like yeah. we're talking about like other teams. Yes, of course, Sounders should have more ambition, of course, but they already are up there. That's just what I think.
In the last 3, okay, in your opinion, the last 3 years, in their last 3 transfer windows, do you think the Seattle Sounders have been ambitious?
De La Vega is pretty ambitious.
Okay, that's 1 signing, and we're talking about 6 windows. 1 signing, 6 windows.
I still think De La Vega is going to pan out.
Okay, my answer, case closed. It's a no. It is a no. It's a big. You do no signings for 3 straight summer transfer windows. Yes, I never cracked on the De La Vega. I did. That's the only signing that gave me the will to live. Like I was so over the moon
about his jersey almost immediately, man.
Yeah, I know.
So excited.
We were all so pumped out. Like everyone was there when I did my. I did 5 videos on De La Vega. I did 5 videos because of how excited I was.
Last year and this year, De La Vega and Jesus Ferreira in 2 years. I think I like that. I'm not gonna lie to you. I like that.
I like that, man. I just don't like Rusnak.
Yeah.
Look,
Cheyenne, I'm sorry. This isn't Miami. Like. This isn't LA. Like, come on.
I never said that. And the thing is, I have realistic expectations. I just want some balls from this team, like from this organization. There's no balls. There's no cojones. There's no risk.
Well,
it's
I agree with
every
that.
move you just talked about. Safe.
Yeah. You should have
Good.
multiple safe moves and then get that.
And then, have
rule.
a couple. But that's the thing is, just like how I talk about the lineup. Young players, older players, safe signings, risky signings. As I said, you need a foundation. Don't get me wrong, but there's been 0 risk from this team.
The Galaxy are allowed to take those the risky moves because they know they're going to get Marco Royce on a TAM deal. They know they're going to get Maya Yoshida for free. So it's like they're allowed to do the risk because they're going to get players on the cheap because they're LA. So it's just a little bit of perspective. Like Seattle maybe can't take those risks because you might not be good because you took a risk. Like you don't have you don't have like a second plan.
Okay, how would we rate the DP re-signing of Albert Rusnak? Brody, we'll let you. No, we'll let Favi go first.
Okay, it's
And everyone in the live
move.
as well say it.
It's a 5 out of 10. It's an okay move.
Oh,
I don't love it.
what is a 5 out of 10 in grade score? That is an F.
Okay. In a grade score, it's a C. It's like a passable move.
That's a 7 then. That's a 7.
But like 7's a little 6. Let's give him a passing grade, a D.
Oh, that's crazy, Bobby. Okay, go, Brody. You're up.
Let's not flunk him. Let's give him a 6. All right.
Well, I was gonna say we were like arguing as if we're on like completely different sides, but my rating's not even that far off. I was gonna give it a 4. I was gonna give it a 4. Like you could do a lot worse because there are a lot worse DPs in the league.
Sure.
But for our club, our ambitions, what we want to achieve, for me, it's a 4. I think it's an easy 4. Combined with his
I was in between 3 or 4 as well. That's why I started clapping because I was like, bro, you're not even that far off from what we were gonna say.
Like it's obviously not a 10, right? So it's interesting.
All right. Well, that's going to be the end of today's live. Ended up being 50 minutes, New Year's Eve. Just wanted to tell everybody happy New Year's. Wish you all a very, very happy New Year's. I mean, it's already going to be close to midnight in the East Coast, and I know we have a lot of like East Coast fans as well. Just wanted to quickly, briefly mention while everyone is here. Let's share this tab. Oh, I'm not on this, but on here, if you guys go to our channel, there's going to be like a join button, and we start our membership program where actually I'll pull it up so everyone can see it. I'm going to have to quickly switch accounts though. Everyone bear with me for 1 second. Okay, here you go. Okay. So if you click this, I even added the correct Weibel emoji. Like, don't you guys want to be members so you can use the Weibel emoji? So get on there. You also get a cool star if you become a member on the channel. I'm trying to promote this as much as possible because it's the best way to support the channel. But nonetheless, if you guys haven't already, make sure to smash the like button on today's video. Subscribe if you're not subscribed already. If you're rewatching this as a video, like it, comment your thoughts on everything we've spoken about because there's a lot that we spoke about. But boys and girls, I hope you all have a lovely day.